For months, the relentless, echoing chamber of the internet screamed one thing, a singular, cynical chorus: PR stunt. It was a hashtag, a meme, a headline, a reflexive sneer from anyone with a keyboard and a passing knowledge of their names. But while the world was busy debating the authenticity of a globally televised romance, and while the memes were still buffering, loading fresh takes on a narrative they thought they controlled, Travis Kelce was already moving with a quiet, deliberate focus. He was already down on one knee in the humid, cricket-filled quiet of his own Kansas City backyard, proving that the most profound moves happen far away from the cameras. The deafening noise, the endless scroll of speculation, kicked off in earnest in September of 2023. It was the moment that would launch 1,000 TikToks. Taylor Swift captured for the first time in the Kelce family's private suite at Arrowhead Stadium, living and dying with every play on the field. In an instant, a cottage industry of amateur sleuths was born. TikTok detectives, armed with screen recordings and an unshakable belief in their own insight, began stitching together elaborate conspiracy theories with the speed and ferocity that could rival a last-ditch fourth-quarter comeback drive. They analyzed her red lipstick, his sideline glances, her conversations with his mother Donna. They saw a meticulously crafted brand integration, a synergistic marketing masterpiece. What their cameras and their theories missed was the groundwork being laid for something far more permanent. While the world was watching the suite, Travis had already made a crucial, discreet call. He had quietly instructed his mother, the now famous Donna Kelce, to contact a local contractor and order the largest, most robust privacy fence Missouri regulations would allow. He wasn't trying to hide a new offensive playbook from rival teams. He was meticulously constructing a sanctuary, hiding a future garden arch that would be absolutely smothered in a very specific varietal of pink and white climbing roses. These weren't just any roses. These were a rare breed that possessed a frustratingly brief blooming window, just 3 perfect weeks a year. To ensure they would be at their absolute peak on the one night that mattered, he had flown a specialist, a world-renowned horticulturist, to his home back in July. This expert was tasked with a single mission: analyze the soil, study the sun patterns, and do whatever it took to guarantee those petals would be bursting open on a specific evening in August. This proposal wasn't staged for the public. It was scouted with the same precision and obsessive attention to detail as a Super Bowl opponent. In the vernacular of professional football, a world Travis Kelce has dominated for a decade, you don't just create a strategy, you install it. Teammates install complex offensive schemes, dribbling every route, every block, every audible until it becomes pure muscle memory. So in his mind, he wasn't just planning a proposal, he was installing one, piece by deliberate piece. The first and most critical step was plugging any and all potential leaks. After the 3rd week of the season, watching the frenzy around the relationship metastasize, he made a hard and fast rule: no more sensitive details communicated via group text. He loved his family, he loved his friends, but he knew that even the most well-intentioned screenshot of a casual conversation could somehow find its way into the waiting hands of gossip curators like Dumois. The risk of a digital trail was too great. Step 2 was a masterclass in misdirection, a tactic he'd perfected on the field. He used his own platform, the wildly popular New Heights podcast he co-hosts with his brother Jason, as his primary tool for the feint. He joked casually that he'd have to wait for a 3rd Super Bowl ring before he could even think about offering one of his own. The sports media, predictably, took the bait, hook, line, and sinker. They started chasing the arithmetic, debating the Chiefs' chances, focusing on the math of a championship run instead of the quiet progression of a romance. While they were busy with statistics, he was busy with logistics. Step 3 was to ghost the ever-present paparazzi, a feat that required logistical genius. He started booking her cross-country flights not on the sleek, easily identifiable private jets of the ultra-famous, but on a discreet, unassuming fleet owned by a national grocery store chain. It was a brilliant move. Nobody bothers to tail a plane that has a name inspired by lettuce and is probably delivering organic produce. Meanwhile, the centerpiece of the entire operation, the ring itself, was hiding in plain sight. It rested securely in a small velvet-lined box, tucked away behind a framed painting that hung in his living room. The painting depicted a diagram of one of his favorite, most successful pass plays. Visitors, teammates, even family members would glance at it and see a piece of charming, personal Chiefs memorabilia. They'd comment on the cute art, completely oblivious that they were standing mere inches away from a breathtaking 5-carat Kindred Lubeck oval diamond. For 8 long weeks, a constant stream of people walked through that room, standing shoulder to shoulder with a piece of history, and not a single one of them ever knew.
The night it happened. The date was Tuesday, August 12, 2025. There were no dazzling production lights, no hired film crew poised to capture the moment, and certainly no pre-written hashtags ready to be deployed. The entire operation was cloaked in the beautiful banality of a normal life. Taylor had just wrapped the final, physically grueling Los Angeles leg of her monumental Eras tour the previous Sunday night, exhausted but exhilarated. Back in Kansas City, Travis had informed his coaches that his ankle felt a bit tweaked during a morning workout, a plausible excuse that would buy him the necessary time away from the facility. He just needed her to complete her journey, her touchdown at his Kansas City home, before the sun rose on their clandestine day together. The day unfolded with a deliberate, comforting normalcy. They grilled steaks in the backyard, playfully arguing over who deserved the last bite of a shared dessert. They walked his dogs through the familiar neighborhood streets, simply enjoying the thick, humid air of a Missouri summer evening. It was, by all appearances, just another Tuesday. But then, as dusk settled and the fireflies began their nightly ascent, he spoke. "Close your eyes," he said, his voice steady. "I have one more surprise for you." When she opened them, she was met with the soft, ethereal glow of 19 individual strands of fairy lights, which he had painstakingly hung from the garden arch. He quietly explained their significance. One strand for every week they had managed to successfully stay off the front page of page 6, a testament to their shared effort to protect their bond. In the gentle, flickering light, he looked at her and began, "I've been waiting to call you my teammate for life." She said yes before the words had even fully left his lips, a breathless, joyful affirmation. The local fireflies provided all the necessary confetti, their blinking lights a silent, sparkling celebration. In his meticulous planning, Travis had forgotten to arrange for fireworks. But as they stood there, wrapped in the quiet of the moment, they both realized they didn't need them. They didn't care. How they kept it secret for 2 weeks. The world at large didn't hear a single peep of the news until August 26th, a full 14 days after the fact. For 2 entire weeks, they lived inside their joyous private bubble. The circle of trust was impossibly small, consisting of only 6 other people, both of their mothers, both of their fathers, Travis's brother, Jason Kelce, and Taylor's longtime publicist, Tree Payne. The reactions of the initiated were profoundly personal. Travis's father, the stoic Ed Kelce, was reportedly in the parking lot of a Bass Pro Shops when his son's call came through. Upon hearing the news, he broke down in tears of joy right there amidst the pickup trucks and fishing gear. A touching piece of proof that even the fathers of Super Bowl champions still feel the full, unadulterated weight of their children's happiness. To maintain operational security, the small group created a new group chat with the most boring, uninteresting name they could conceive: Grocery Run. The mundane title ensured that any notification buzz or passing glance at a phone screen would suggest nothing more than a reminder that someone had forgotten to pick up milk or eggs. During this period, Taylor wore the magnificent ring indoors only, a private treasure. She would slip it onto her right hand while sitting at her piano or writing in her journal, just to test the feel of the cool metal and the weight of its significance. In a parallel ritual, Travis would practice saying the word "my fiancé" out loud while looking in the mirror, training himself so he wouldn't accidentally let it slip during a press conference or on a podcast recording. Those 2 undercover weeks felt like a period of stolen time, a secret overtime victory that belonged only to them. The fallout fans never saw. The moment TMZ inevitably broke the story, the public reaction was instantaneous and explosive. The digital world convulsed. Within minutes, online sales of Travis Kelce's number 87 jersey spikes by an astonishing 400% as fans rush to own a piece of the fairy tale. On the Nordstrom website, the specific model Free People sundress Taylor had worn in the leaked garden photos was nuked from the site, selling out in every size and color in under an hour. Secondary market ticket brokers, smelling opportunity, immediately jacked up prices for upcoming Chiefs playoff tickets by a minimum of 30%, placing a high-stakes bet that this newfound love story would translate directly into more touchdowns and a deeper postseason run. Inside the Chiefs' training facility, the shift in Travis was palpable. Teammates noted he was suddenly dancing during the team's morning stretch sessions, a joyful, uninhibited display that was unusual even for him. Grizzled veteran offensive linemen don't typically dance, but they smiled when they saw it. The coaching staff took it all in stride. Head coach Andy Reid, a man known for his focus on player morale, reportedly just shrugged and said, "Happy players score points." And the stats seemed to back him up. In the games that followed, Travis's on-field performance sharpened. His yards after catch numbers climbed, his releases off the line of scrimmage were quicker and more explosive, and he recorded 0 dropped passes. The narrative that the relationship could be a distraction was proven completely false. Love didn't dull his focus, it sharpened his timing. Why no grand stadium spectacle? Taylor Swift once told a journalist from Rolling Stone that one of her favorite songs she's ever written is Invisible String, a track about the unseen, fateful threads that connect two people long before they ever meet. Travis, an attentive partner, had clearly been listening. He possessed the resources and the clout to pull off a proposal of unimaginable scale. He could have easily rented out the entirety of Arrowhead Stadium, hired the entire Chiefs kingdom as extras, and sold the exclusive broadcast rights to Netflix for a multi-million-dollar special. It would have been a global spectacle. Instead, he chose the quiet, unassuming wooden porch of his Missouri home. He chose the very spot where she had, for the first time, made pancakes for his visiting family. He chose the patch of grass where she had played with his young niece, chasing her through the sprinklers. For them, intimacy was the entire point. They already headline stadiums for a living. Their careers are built on grand public gestures. This one moment, the foundational moment of their future, needed to be scaled down to fit only them. So if you're still holding out hope for a grainy Jay Buntron clip of the big moment, you can stop looking. It simply doesn't exist. Unless, of course, you count the highly encrypted security file on his laptop, playfully labeled TH Highlights. What happens next? As for the future, the official wedding plans are currently on ice, a necessary pause dictated by the demanding overlapping schedules of a grueling NFL season and the European leg of the Eras Tour. Sources close to the couple suggest they are eyeing a potential spring ceremony, something intimate and natural. The vision is clear, a location surrounded by grass with absolutely no cell phone service to ensure total privacy. The guest list is expected to be tightly curated, hovering around 100 people, composed of roughly half blood relatives and half of their chosen Chiefs family. Ever the strategist, Tree Payne has already taken proactive legal steps, reportedly locking down the trademark for TNT Productions, a clever acronym for Taylor and Travis. This move is seen as less about future napkin sales and more about creating a legal shield to protect their brand and fend off unauthorized merchandise. When asked about the prospect of having kids, both are said to audible faster than Patrick Mahomes at the line of scrimmage, expertly changing the subject with practiced ease. Still, a telling clue surfaced last month. Travis was spotted by a fan in an airport bookstore, quietly purchasing a children's picture book about football. You can read into that what you want. If you are sitting there smiling, if you believe that their love story is the real deal in a world full of fakes, go ahead and smash that like button so hard the algorithm thinks it's just witnessed a Lambo leap. Debunking the last skeptics. Are you still furiously typing the word fake in the comment section? Let's consider the evidence one last time. Calculated PR couples do not spend significant money on custom-installed privacy hedges. They do the opposite, placing a strategic call to the paparazzi to ensure they are caught in a perfect, flattering light. PR couples book glossy, airbrushed magazine covers to announce their engagement. They don't choose a random, unglamorous Tuesday in August. And they most certainly do not unleash a wild card like Ed Kelce onto morning AM radio. The man is a treasure, but he possesses an endearing ability to keep a secret to save his life. The mountain of organic evidence, from the fence to the secret flights to the genuine joy, outweighs the cynical theories by a margin of roughly 400% in jersey sales and one very, very happy couple.
The lesson for the rest of us. Perhaps the most resonant part of this story is that you don't need an NFL-sized salary or a pop star's resources to protect what truly matters to you. All you really need is a clear plan, a committed partner, and the unwavering guts to mute the outside noise. Travis Kelce installed his dream life the same way he'd install a game-winning play. It started with a quiet huddle, followed a clear route, and ended with a perfect, confident throw. And Taylor ran that route with him, rings on their hands and their hearts finally in sync. Maybe that's the real reason the story captivated so many of us. Under the constant, blinding glare of the Klieg lights of global fame, they still managed to find a way to make the darkness feel cozy. If a couple living under that much scrutiny can pull that off, then maybe the rest of us can too. Hit subscribe for more proof that real love is always louder and more powerful than the timeline. And while you're at it, drop the one song you would absolutely put on their wedding playlist in the comments below. For me, it's Invisible String, obviously. So yes, while the internet was shouting stunt into the void, Travis Kelce was kneeling in the damp Missouri mulch with the scent of pink roses trembling in the thick, late August humidity. The very same man who has built a career on his preternatural ability to read a defensive blitz proved he could also read the room of his own life. He understood that Taylor needed quiet. He knew that he needed forever. And he saw that the simple Missouri dirt beneath his feet was wide open territory for their future. The most public couple alive just managed to pull off the most beautifully private proposal of the year. You might have blinked and missed it. And that was precisely the point, because the best love stories are never written for the headlines. They are written for two people, alone on a porch, with their dogs' tails wagging, the fireflies handling the pyrotechnics, and a future that finally, wonderfully belongs to them and them alone.